is to make sure that you have your asbestos suit on, or your fire retardant suit, and walk into that building. And too many of us are going in there bare and fighting a system you're not going to win, because they're going to sit there. You see how Gayle King was looking at R. Kelly? That's how they look at you. Robert. You need to calm down. You're a little emotional here.
Exactly.
You got to flip the script. You have to be Gayle King and let them be R. Kelly. We get too emotional with this. I'm not emotional. This is science. This is what we're presenting. Please, my sister, do you want to?
So the standards for grade 4 are equivalent to grade 12?
No, because what's going to happen? Well, basically yes, but also as you go through the curriculum, because this curriculum is like about 400 and something pages. So as you're going through, you begin to identify various standards that you could meet as it relates to the different standards that you have listed. But this is an overview of, see, it's an introduction and overview. As you move more to it, then what happens is that we flesh it out, and then we identify standards of 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade.
Because I was thinking they'll have something else to complain about.
Yes, no, it's all there. Once you get past this first page, you see that's page 39. Once you get past there, you see, and then you have then you have the math skills, and then you have science. So you've met all 4 major curriculum areas. 4 major curriculum areas in the school system is math, science, language arts, and social studies.
What's that STEM thing they're talking nowadays?
STEM is the physical sciences, and I'm going to show you.
Okay, perfect.
But STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and those are the physical sciences. You have the arts. You know, you have what we call communication arts. In Africa, it was called spiritual science, but folk can't handle that, so it's called communication arts. We play the game. You have under communication arts, you have performing arts, creative arts, and language arts. Under the physical sciences, you have science, technology, engineering, and math. Under the social sciences, you have geography, history, politics, economics, and social. And I'm going to get deeper into that as we move through this process.
Well, you know, and I wonder if they know what the standards mean, or if they just look at the standards.
The standards have always been the same. The standards have always been, as long as I've been a teacher, the standards have always remained the same. In order to make money, all they do is rearrange it.
But do they know when they see them?
Who,
What
the
they're
teacher?
looking at? The administrators,
Well, that's why we do staff development. You see, that's what Keisha, you see, that's how I come in and I do staff development. As it relates to the standards. Because some of them are learning the standards for the first time themselves. Some of them are math teachers, don't even know the standards. Some of them are science teachers, they don't know the standards. And so what you do, every program has to have staff development. I've often said a school is a place where adults go to learn and children benefit from what the adults are learning.
Wow.
Our schools are based on the fact that teachers walk in, I'm going to teach you something. I'm saying that temples, African temples, the educational system was for adults, and the children came to benefit from what the adults were learning. See how they reversed it?
Yeah.
They turned the whole thing around. So now but it's money-making venture. It's money. They get the adults to pay for college to become teacher, and then they make money on the students to go to school. It has no idea as to what you're going to do. It all has to do with a money-making venture. And so as we, you know, but you ain't going to change this now. You know, so I tell people, look, I'm telling you this, but don't think you're going to go tomorrow and change this, because this ain't going to go down like that, you know? These people ain't giving it up. Okay, now from here, now, here is the lesson plan on the pyramids, okay? This is part 1 of section 4. Okay? What you do, what you're doing, and now think of me talking to teachers in a staff development session. You give them background information. Okay, now my sister, look, that's page 59. So we just jumped 20 pages. This is another section of the book. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking what I told you and now I'm specifically applying it to a particular lesson plan. Okay, the teacher needs background information. Teachers don't know about the pyramid, so to speak. So what you do is you give them background information and you give them a round robin ability. Round robin means in staff development. You give people a chance to sit down and they can read the material. Okay? Now, what's happening now, here's the second page, but now there's the activity that I developed. There's the science activity. Method of delivery. You tell them how to method, which is also called procedure. Okay? And what you have there is the procedure is the teacher will, and then I identify all the things that the teacher will do. Okay? Then you have the student will. So that on one level, you have the teacher expectations, and then on the other level, you have the student expectations. So that when you're in a classroom talking, teachers know exactly, well, this is what I have to do. And this is what I'm going to have the students do. And then you give them the activities that respond to what it is that you're going to do. So there's the activity. Geography, map study. Activity 1. The teacher will, that's the second page at the bottom. And then the student will. The student will follow the Nile River from its origin at the foot of the mountains of the moon. Okay? Then you have a second activity. The student will. Activity number 2 is geometry and art as it relates to the pyramids. Okay? The teacher will, the student will. Activity number 3, mathematics problem solving. Because I'm going to have them, you know what's interesting about the step pyramid is the fact that you have the steps, right? And what you have is in math is called the run to rise ratio. A to B. Okay? Now, if you have on the bottom of a step, right? It called
mastaba.
A mastaba, yes, mastaba. And then you take a second mastaba that is smaller than the bottom one, but proportionately the run of A to B is the same as the bottom one. You put a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You then create a side, and in math, that's y equals mx plus b, which is finding the slope. Now, when you drop this on people, see, now, I'm teaching you math.
That's serious math. Absolutely.
You know, I'm not up in your face talking nonsense.
Serious lesson plan.
You know, see, when we get so caught up in the pyramids, people say, oh, the pyramids, the pyramid. No, I'm teaching you math.
Is that geometry? Is that trigonometry? Is that basically that formula you just...
Both of them. Because you see, the other thing is that when you look at numbers, and again, this goes back to my experience in the classroom. The first thing that you teach a child when they're learning math, you teach them what's called number sense, which is they learn how to count. Normally you use manipulatives, so you might have 10 things, right? And then from them you teach them symbology, which now you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you know, if you keep doing that up to 100, that's a whole bunch of stuff. So now I'm going to give you symbols. I'm going to give you a symbol for 1, which is what we draw 1. And then instead of having to do 2, I'm going to give you a symbol for 2. And then instead of doing 3, I'm going to give you a symbol for 3. 4. So you're teaching them symbology as it relates to mathematics, right? And so then they get that. Okay, I understand that. Okay, now I know my numbers. Now we use the Dewey Decimal System up to 10, okay? Which means that we're dealing with a set of 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One set, 0 left over. 11 is 1 set, 1 left over. 12 is 1 set, 2 left over. But we have words for that. When you get to 20, you have 2 sets, 0 left.
0 left over.
100 is 10 sets, 0 left over. 1,000 is 100 sets, 0 left over in the base 10. Because I'm going to show you something about other bases in math. And so, not just that, but the run to rise ratio, y equals mx plus b, finding the slope. Not just that, but when Imhotep wrote the math for the step pyramid, he also wrote the math for the perfect pyramid. But he knew he didn't have time to be able to get there because he saw that future generations would get there. So 100 years later, the math that he implemented back in 100 years was then manifested in future generations. So what did he do? What made the perfect pyramid? The perfect pyramid was to understand if you have a run to rise, A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B, if it's all relational, then you create a side C.
Wow.
If you square it,
You have side D.
you have A squared plus B squared equals C squared, which is what we today call the Pythagorean theorem, where Pythagoras was born 1,000 years after the pyramids were built.
Exactly. Where did he get it from?
Come on.
Okay?
Yep.
So we have physical scientific evidence of the so-called A squared plus B squared equals C squared building. That is what perfected the step pyramid to become the perfect pyramid by filling in the sides of the A to B run to rise ratio to create the side C.
Really?
Amazing.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
We don't know how great we are. And people that look like you and me did this.
So to your point then,
It's the
They
creator.
say the Pythagorean theorem is in the pyramids.
It is the pyramid.
It is.
It is the pyramid.
And so is the golden mean.
Okay.
Now let me tell you something about the perfect pyramid. See, this is why I need a classroom where
you're
I can
class. This is school. This is school here.
Because
Absolutely.
look at the pyramid. I'm gonna take you all up in a helicopter, and you're gonna look down on Khufu's pyramid. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
You're looking down. So what you're looking at is a square. Okay.
The base of it, yeah.
Every side of the pyramid is 755 feet.
Exact. Wow.
Not quite exact. The north side is 755.88. The south side is 755.43.
Wow.
And the east and west side is 755.77. Because they understood that you needed to have play. You couldn't have anything exact. Because under those conditions, the building would have fallen.
Wow.
So you have to have sway. You know how they build earthquake building?
Building.
They didn't have
High-rise.
earthquakes in Egypt, but they understood that the dynamics of geology made that nothing is perfect. So but it's 755 feet and it's 481.4 feet high. Right? Here's another math problem. 755. Now you got to solve for the perimeter. If Khufu's pyramid, if you took half of the perimeter and divided it by its height, it's equal to 3.14.
Wow.
750, and basically that's a 75-story building turned sideways. A building of 75 stories, you turn it sideways. That's how big the pyramid is. I've been there, so I know what it looked like.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's 755 feet. So you basically think that 10 feet is a story.
A story. So
And
you-
755 would be
78 and a half stories.
75 and a half stories high. That's how each side.
Amazing.
That's how over
Amazing.
somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million stones.
Wow.
No mortar.
No
Think
more.
about it.
Nothing
Didn't
in
have a
between.
John Deere tractor. Didn't have hydraulics.
No, yeah, that's
But they had a technology which I can get in, but they had a technology
The
that
block
they,
and tackle.
I don't think
salary.
tractor-
first of all, they understood movement. Okay,
Friction.
dance. Well, they understood. What they had was, first of all, they used to quarry the stones from Nubia, and they would bring it up. So you wonder, how did they get it across the desert? Okay. Well, what they did is that they had this solvent where they would put this stone on logs, And they had somebody in the front that would drop this solvent that would harden the sand.
Really?
Do you know when water is on sand, you can see that it's compact? Well, they had a solvent they would put on the sand that would make it hard, and then they would roll it forward. Then they had someone in the back that had a solvent that would make the sand go back to its original form. And then they had belts that went around. They built the pyramid from the inside out. You know, the pyramid is as deep as it is high.
It's high. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
And there are people that say that it actually was a nuclear reactor.
I heard about that.
Really?
Okay? Yeah. There's a book called The Giza Power Plant. Okay. You see, family, we are geniuses.
Absolutely.
That DNA is in us. And I'm going to show you something after this. I'm going to show you something. See, we have to understand who we are. And we have to get in here and save our children.
Yes.
Because they're geniuses. And why they act the way they act is because they're geniuses run amok. Because we ain't with them.
Absolutely.
So that's why when I used to talk to the children, the way in which I used to approach them was a hands-off kind of thing. Hey, come on, man. We have work to do, Brad. You don't ever hear me talk to you like that. You ain't never, in all the years that you've been, have I ever called you motherfucker? So why are you talking to me like that?
Exactly.
I ain't your motherfucker. And when you talk to them that way, they
That's
say,
right.
That's right. Come ain't my motherfucker. Please allow me to speak this way. I respect, but I'm speaking a certain way because this is what we encounter in our classroom.
Let them know where that word comes from.
Oh boy.
In terms of when breeding,
Absolutely.
they would put bags over our
Brown
heads,
bag, yeah.
and because they just needed a child to work the
Didn't
farm.
care.
So if you had one female slave that you impregnated, and she had a boy, then you brought them together. But in order for them not to know who was who, you put a brown bag over their head, and that's where the term MF came from.
Yep.
And you could have been a father with a daughter. Okay.
Sister with a brother.
Could have been anybody
Wicked beast.
because we were animals.
That's right.
So they didn't even see us as well. They knew better, but they just
chose
played games on their head.
That's deep.
So that but the other thing I want to talk about the pyramid, which I think is very interesting, is that I just told you that if you took half of the perimeter and divided it by its height, it's equal to 3.14.
Yes.
But how did you learn about circumference of a how did you learn about 3.14?
Pi.
Pi. Yeah.
Yes, it's pi, but how did you learn it though? In what form was it introduced to you?
It's Greek. The Greek.
I think
Yeah,
it's
but in what form did you learn it?
Symbol.
Yes, but you learned it in terms of what? The circle. The circumference divided by its diameter. But wait a minute, I just gave you that formula in a square. So what had the Africans done back then? They had rounded the square and squared the circle.
Wow.
Which is a fundamental mathematical principle that takes your mind into a whole nother arena of the world that allows you to see when they talk about you can't put a square
in
a oh, yes, they could.
Yeah, come on, man. Wow.
Yeah.
God.
Okay. See, your brother got to take a break.
My daughter's waiting on me. I'm like, man, I got what? Wow.
Okay.
I don't want to leave with.
Oh man, hey, family first, brother.
Family first.
Family first, man. You can always catch the DVD.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, brother.
All right.
All right, brother.
Stay strong, brother.
God bless.
Give your daughter our regards, brother.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but the best is yet to come, but that's okay. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh my.
So, this is what we teach our children in math.
Woo. Not like that.
Okay.
Not like
Okay, now here's the activity worksheet, because what do you want to do? Vocabulary. You got to give them vocabulary. This is language arts now. Look at all those vocabulary words. And then I have a science astronomy activity with them. The teacher will, the student will. And then I have another astronomy and the pyramids. Because what they found was that the way in which the sun shone, it cast a shadow. And according to what side of the pyramid had the shadow, told them what season they were experiencing. So they used it as the ability to understand agricultural science, which basically is what? The tumuli. When you go back into Ethiopia, you see the ring tumuli, and the ring tumuli is the forerunner of the pyramids. So you can actually understand why the pyramids would have progressed going from south to north, and nobody from Europe would have brought that design in, because you can see the forerunner of the pyramids in Kush, in Ethiopia, because of the ring tumuli. Tumuli. Tumuli.
That was like a circle stone.
Yeah, well, it was something that was like this, and then you put a stick.
Like a sundial.
Man, taking notes. That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
I actually tried that myself at a pool house. You know how I got like this little
like, say
rim?
for example, if it makes a 12 o'clock position on the first line, that's one season. When the next season starts, it'll do the same 12 o'clock position, but it'll be on the second line.
Oh, really?
That's how you know the different seasons.
Ah,
They
I
had
didn't
4
know that.
lines, so the outside line is one season, the second line is another season, the third line is another season, and the fourth line is the fourth season.
I got
So
you.
like when it hit 12 o'clock in the summertime, it'll be on the third line.
I'm with
Or
you.
it'd be 12 o'clock in the wintertime, it'd be this line.
Different.
So that's how you knew the different seasons
Wow.
of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Go to the beach and look at somebody that really want a suntan. They can tell you what time it is. Because in the morning, when the sun rises, they're going to be here. And they're not going to catch. And the way they know that they're getting a direct tan is there's no shadow on either side. So they know that they're in line with the sun.
Ah, okay.
Okay? Now, when the sun is the highest, they're here. Okay? 3 o'clock, they're here. So that was the beginnings of clocks.
It's interesting. So
Yeah,
this-
but don't they use the Polaris star to align the further northern part of the sky? So they kind of like outline the spot where there's like a bar, and wherever that bar casts the shadow, once it reaches that end, it would show you when true noon is. And I tried this theory myself at a pool house. You know how every pool house, when you're going down the steps, they got this little rim. So I used that and I put a line down there, but I waited until night and I kind of like observed it, and I noticed where it was at. And I tried to do my best measurement. You know, I'm not perfect, but I got close enough where I realized the real noon is actually at 4 p.m. based off of what you and I believe Patasi were discussing on one of your tutorials.
Yes.
And once that blew my mind. I'm still stuck on that to this day. But that's when I realized, okay, that's the reason why they have all these daylight savings.
Yeah.
That's why they have all this, and it's all they have daylight savings, and then they have you turn the clock maybe 1 hour forward and one back.
That was last night,
to
unfortunately.
collect those times, and by the time you get 4 years, you done collected those 4 hours within that day. And I was blown.
There are multiple calendars that our ancestors had.
I know, but just,
Leap year,
Yeah.
they literally, the whole idea of
By the
leap
time
year,
you
you could
use
have a
it,
leap
it's
year that every
right.
4 years you add a day to the calendar.
Hmm.
Our ancestors had a leap year of 1,460 years
Absolutely.
that they added an entire year.
Absolutely.
hold on, 1,460 years.
60 years.
So that's the solstice. I forget what it's called. There's a term for it. I think this Dogon professor was talking about it. But yeah, and
Are you talking about Sopit?
I think that's his name. I'm not
Are
sure.
you
I
talking
don't
about
want.
Sirius?
Yeah. They were
A
talking.
sidereal calendar.
Yeah, I actually got the book. I actually got the book, so it breaks it down. So I don't want to misquote it. But I know when I was reviewing it, the 1460, I didn't know that was actually a leap year.
Yeah, oh, and then they have another calendar that is 26,000 years. That's the Great Calendar,
Oh, so that's how it
where you have 12 houses of 2,160
There you go.
years.
Absolutely.
those are.
Well,
And-
tell your mama.
2,160 year calendar. See, this is what, we're leaving the age of Pisces going into the age of Aquarius. But the reason why we were in the age of Pisces is why? Was because fishermen was the fish. That's why Jesus was a fish.
Mm.
That's why you see signs of Christianity, you see a fish.
Your fish.
That's Pisces. That's really astronomy.
you
That's
right.
astronomical.
Exactly.
We are now moving into the age of Aquarius, which is the age of the water bearer, which is information. That's why you see all this stuff happening out here now. Because now all this information is out here now.
Yeah.
And it's just here. Every great year starts in the Piscean age. That's why Jesus was the teller of things to come. Okay? But check this out. What preceded in this, it's called the precession of the equinoxes. What constellation preceded Pisces? Well, we're about to get into
Leo?
it.
No.
We're about to get in it. Our yearly one, we're about to get in it right now, on the 20th. What does
The 20th is spring, you think?
yes,
What's the sign? I don't know the sign for.
Aries.
Aries?
Yeah,
Okay.
the ram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's almond, right?
well, yeah, it's Kanum.
Yeah.
But let's go deeper into Kanum and the ram. What is a ram? A ram is male sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is the mother called? What is the female sheep called? Called a ewe. E-W-E.
Right.
What's the child called?
Yeah.
A lamb.
Not really good.
A lamb?
A lamb.
Mhm.
So why was Jesus called the Lamb of
of
God
God.
who comes to take away the sins of the world?
Wow.
I almost dropped my phone. Goodness
See,
gracious.
when we get these stories in place,
Sheesh.
Before we get too far off, you said that the symbol, the last age